Kaaren, welcome to the show today.
Hey, Michael, thank you so much.
Yeah, we're going to dissect self-directed IRA and retirement fund dissecting here today. Just give us a little background. We're going to start kind of basic and general, but people may not know that you can invest with IRAs and possibly 401ks. And we'll kind of start at the top, but then we're going to go into different types of self-directed investing. So really excited about that. First of all, tell us a little bit about you and your company, uDirect.
Yeah, we just hit our 16th anniversary, so we've been
Nice.
helping people self-direct. We have over $1 billion under management. We have thousands and thousands of account holders. So basically, this all stemmed from, for me anyway, from a background of real estate, property management, loan servicing, loan origination, all throughout my career. And then it culminated really in 2007. I went to work for a self-directed IRA company, and a couple years later spun off into uDirect.
Nice. Okay, so you have some real estate investment background, which is amazing. So let's give us a kind of an intro into self-directed investing. What does that even mean?
Well, what it means is that you can take an IRA, and believe me, an IRA is it's one thing. It's not complicated. We all know it's an individual retirement arrangement or individual retirement account, and it doesn't have to be used for for these kinds of just general stock market based assets. It can be used for alternative assets like cryptocurrency. It could be precious metals or notes. Your IRA could be the bank and lend money. There are so many things a self-directed account can do because the self-directed account invests in what we call alternative assets, which is alternative to the stock market.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because a lot of people didn't know that. I mean, they do because you have an IRA custodian, your administrator, or company, or 401k, and then you're asked to allocate funds in various different funds and mutual funds. And the fact that you can buy a house with it, or make a loan with it, or buy cryptocurrency is completely foreign, and that's pretty wild. So how does that work? I mean, like, all right, so I have an IRA and it's invested in something or another, and like, okay, I want to do this. Like, what are the steps to actually take my IRA so I can invest in real estate or buy crypto or whatever is these alternative investments? Like, what needs to happen?
Yeah. It's not that difficult. I mean, what you do first off, you want to liquidate what you have to cash because you would be moving cash over. The purpose of having a self-directed IRA is you've got some alternative asset in mind, and you're going to need cash to invest with that. So you would liquidate the assets that you have, transfer cash over. It's very simple. You fill out a form. We, help you move the money. So I say it's a three-step process. Open the account, fund it by transferring the money over, and then invest. And so then you've self-directed. It's not tough.
So it's pretty easy. And so let's talk about what kind of investing, what that looks like. Let's talk about real estate in general. So I want to buy a rental property. What does that entail?
Well, rental property is great in a self-directed IRA. We had a little kind of like a party on rental property right after the Great Recession, as you'll recall. But people are still buying rental properties in their IRA regardless of the price. So what it is it's just like acquiring any other real estate. You go through choose the property, make the offer, you negotiate closing costs, the whole bit. But when it comes to funding the deal, that money comes from your self-directed account. Now, I say that, and I need to add that it's possible for an IRA to get a loan. It's not the individual borrowing money, it's the IRA account itself that borrows the money. It's a special loan called a non-recourse loan. So I could, go deep on that, but it's possible for an IRA to borrow money to buy a house. But then what happens is you close, your tenants move in, the rent checks are payable, not to you personally, but to the IRA. So those rent checks are tax-free and a Roth or tax deferred. So you're building your retirement. You're prepping for later.
All right, so there's something when you're investing, you have to has to be some kind of arm's length transaction because you're talking about so I can't buy this thing in the IRA, I can't in the IRA's name, and then pocket the rent checks, right? So what are some of the guidelines around what does that mean, arm's length transaction?
Well, I mean, as a whole, as a bucket, these are called prohibited transactions. And if you're a rule book kind of person, you can read about it in the Internal Revenue Code. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Yeah,
I
very
think I'm
much
going to
so.
go read the Internal Revenue Code. But it's if you want to, go ahead. It's 4975. That's where it's written. So they say there are things that you can't do. Disallowed people can't do certain things. You're disallowed to your IRA. Plus any ascendant or descendant, you and your spouse are disallowed. Also a 50-50 business partner and anybody who's a fiduciary in the deal, they're disallowed people. So those people have to stay arm's length. So what that means is your IRA doesn't buy a house from your parents. If your IRA were to buy a house, your say your niece or nephew could live there, but not your children. Your IRA can make a loan to, say, your uncle to start a business, but your IRA can't make that loan to your dad. So brothers and sisters are okay. They are allowed, but not up and down the family tree. Think of it as like if you died without a will, who would inherit your estate? Those are the people.
I see. So the IRA then in this case owns the house, and the rent checks would have to be deposited in the account. But also, if I have expenses like say real estate taxes or insurance, how do I pay for those?
Well, yeah, they must be paid by IRA funds. And if if say you don't have the money to come up with that, maybe you need a new roof on the house your IRA owns. So what you could do is like liquidate other assets in the plan. You could transfer other money from another retirement account. You could make a contribution or even take a loan, like maybe borrow from somebody else as a non-recourse loan to your plan.
So that's if I'm buying a rental property and it's titled in the IRA account and
Right.
funds move in and out of it. Now, what about an LP investment like a syndication? What if I want to use my IRA for that? How does that similar or different?
Yeah, that is like the number one most popular way to use a self-directed IRA is as an LP or in a syndication, number one asset class. So it's of course you need to do your due diligence no matter what you're investing in. That is the challenge. That's a challenge is due diligence and making sure you're making a good investment. Okay. But basically it's the same thing. You open the account, put the money in there. After you reviewed and chosen that asset, you give us what we call the supporting documentation. That's the contract. Could be like the subscription agreement. We're going to review that. And assuming we're taking a look at it, not to say if it's a good or bad investment, because it's self-directed and the account holder is making that decision, but we're going to look at it to make sure that it's vested correctly and so forth. Then we'll go ahead and fund that deal, and then all proceeds come back in the IRA. That's how that works.